Welcome, Virgo. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your full moon in Taurus reading. The full moon is also a lunar eclipse on the 28th of October, and that simply amplifies the energy from a couple of days. The full moons are typically culminations of energies, insights, or efforts from a couple of days to more like a couple of months or more, depending on where it is signaling or triggering off aspects in your own chart. 5 degrees of Taurus, if you have personal planets there or an aspect to that, you're going to feel a bigger residual energy from this, depending on the planets contacted. If you want more information about your chart, please go to astro.com. You can get a free chart and a free chart drawing from them. So I hope if you enjoy this past, present, future reading, I'll clarify with another deck and finish off with a couple of oracle cards. You will like, comment below, share this video with others, and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. Let's get started, Virgo, with your overall energy. And I have the Three of Swords. Three of Swords is quite typically the card of suffering, pain, heartache, disappointments, failure. And this card coming up at this time has me intuiting that you are reviewing a pattern of behavior that has contributed what you are seeing or perhaps viewing as failures. By identifying that pattern, you are already beginning to understand the necessity for these experiences in your life, and perhaps you are gleaning the things that you can have learned from these experiences. This is, I think of heartbreak in this particular sense, and thus relationships that you may have had that have failed in some way, that were not complete or satisfying in the way that you would have expected when you began. And in many ways, understanding that you bore some responsibility for the failure is key to understanding the lessons of these. Understanding the part you played is going to help to disrupt the pattern that you've identified, the pattern that you're seeing. This pattern, undoubtedly, you are aware, is your pattern. It's not the pattern of others, even if you may have often selected a certain type of partner or a certain type of environment. If this is not exclusively about relationships, you may have chosen a certain kind of role in your professional experience that you now realize is part of the problem, why you have failed or why things didn't work out the way you hoped. So this is a card. At this time, the full moon is really bringing up a deeper understanding of what it is to be learned, how to advance, how you've progressed in your understanding of opportunities, relationships that you've undertaken and perhaps not been successful in, so that you can disrupt this pattern. In the past, we have the Chariot card, the Death card, and the Eight of Pentacles. Wow. Whew. You're absolutely disrupting this cycle, I have to say. You are recognizing that you may not always be able to or need to solve all the problems in your immediate environment, be that home or work, that the problems of others do not necessarily belong to you. And in recognizing that, you are not so eager to conform with the requirements of the role you've taken on, if that's husband, parent, wife, if that's a good employee, boss at your company, whatever role you've undertaken, you don't need to solve all the problems. You don't need to be as appears to be required of you. What you're understanding now is that simply you can be yourself. You've earned that right. You are feeling way more comfortable in stepping out into your uniqueness. And some of this is a result of the incredible amount of work you've devoted to understanding this pattern of failure or disappointment. You've understood that you can ensure your best success by being the best person you can be, by developing yourself, by looking at your challenges, your weaknesses, amplifying your strengths, building your skills, being diligent, being disciplined, doing your work to the best of your ability. This is, I might add, something that you are uniquely capable for at all times. So if this is the effort and energy you've been applying for some time, you are now appreciating and understanding the kind of baggage you have brought perhaps to relationships at work or at home, and the fact that being who you are is your right. Amplifying your skills, releasing the sense that you have to do for others. You must take care of others, when in fact, your real skill lies in being who you are, bringing that discipline, that devotion, that attention to not only the details, but the service in what it is, the work that you do. You're bringing aid to others. You're informing others. You're educating others. You're uplifting others in some capacity of your work. And you may have come to the end of a cycle of that professional accomplishment, that happy or home environment, that relationship or marriage, that necessity to be a parent. And that may have been something that has held you in a relationship that was less than satisfying. And that obligation has closed out and in many ways released you from a sense that you have to stay in something and work it out, even though it's difficult. This has a strong hold on you right now, so that the sense is there is a lot of releasing that you're having to do, and a lot of letting go of habits, patterns, efforts that you've made in the past. None of it was misguided when it was to the in the interest of developing your talents, your efforts, and your work, improving on that, building up your body of work, your skill set, your knowledge base has all been to the better. But in many ways, you are taking a leap into honoring who you are and what you desire. And this is requiring cutting a lot of losses. So as you release this painful pattern, you're also allowing yourself to go deeply into those experiences, to really explore those and release your sense of responsibility in those. In the present, we have the Devil card, the Seven of Cups, and the Seven of Wands. Ooh. I'm really feeling that this releasing this obligation to be accomplished, to achieve, to get to the top of the heap in your, perhaps your professional experience, to be the best parent, the best spouse, the best in your profession, has obligated you to a sense of serving the needs of others. And that is a powerful need. the idea that you are unique and that you have a special set of skills that that apply to your specific role in the world, the desired role, is really part of your sense of refashioning what you accomplish in the world, so that you recognize that you've been driven by the needs of others, the expectations of others, and you're now to a place where you've gained the confidence to step outside of that. And here you are standing up for yourself in a different way than in the past. I sense you've never been one to mince words. You've always been clear about your contribution and the direction of your mission on the planet with regards to your work, your relationships. And you've always sacrificed those for your work. I think your work perhaps has been a retreat, a respite from difficult relationships, a sense of onerous obligations to others, the needs to take care of others. Your work has been a way to assuage that sense of obligation. But now you're coming from a different place by setting boundaries around what you will and won't do, what you can and can't do, what you want to do and what you don't want to do, in a way that honors your expertise, what you're good at, allows you the freedom. Again, it's supporting this chariot, the desire to be who you are, to speak to your strength, to speak to your talent, your mission. So these sevens are really confirming that you're on the path now for you, for the right reasons. And as a result of both your achievement at your work, even if it's been very traditional and conventional, and this desire to move off in a direction that more accurately reflects your real beliefs, your real desires, what inspires you, what fuels you, you are receiving many offers. Many people, there are many options you now recognize you have. They're not all options that you see as equally beneficial. They're not all good. Some of them are just gratification after so much work, so much dedication, so much effort. And it's not that you haven't sought gratification, instant, short-term gratification in the past, but you're recognizing you're at a place, a pivotal place, where you have an opportunity to discard some unhealthy habits, unhealthy focus in your life, an imbalance of honoring what others see as successful rather than success on your own terms. In the future, we have the Three of Wands, the Sun card, and the Six of Wands. Beautiful. This feels heavy. It feels like you've been working really hard, Virgo. It feels like you are addressing your relationships, the expectations of you and for you since your most formative years, since your educational experiences, since your family of origin. A strong sense of accomplishment was required, and you, in many ways, may be fulfilling that, may have fulfilled that. But at this point, you're now recognizing that the ability to pursue what makes you happy, what gives you pleasure, it's not as though you're turning away from your mission of service or your mark on the world, but you're doing that in a way that honors other talents, other gifts of yours, and puts the focus on enjoyment, pleasure, and upliftment. This is changing your ability to work with others and to start something that uniquely expresses you. And this can be a side hustle that you are coming up with. It may be a side hustle that you've always had as the result of your work. But this is one that you're looking at growing as perhaps a retirement business or a business of your own that could eventually become your sole focus, as opposed to whatever you're doing that's very institutionally grounded. But moreover, you're working with others in a way that doesn't strip them or strip your commitment to collaboration. Because I see you being able and willing, desirous of collaborating in new ways, finding the pleasure and the personal benefit in that may have been less pleasurable or you had less time for in the past. Now I see you putting your interest in those side projects that have undoubtedly built your profile and your reputation, but now you're finding the time to engage in those in a fresh way. You may be actually creating something out of these collaborations, these team efforts, even in your conventional arena, that is building something that is more uniquely and originally expressive of your uniqueness. So there is this thing about being who you are that is emerging from these experiences of releasing, letting go of obligations to others. And I don't mean dropping all of your legitimate responsibilities, but I do mean the expectations of yourself and the expectations others have for you has so dominated your life in many ways that the sense of extracting pleasure and joy and playful work, playful efforts, creative work, with an effort, an emphasis on playfulness, joy, mutual resource sharing, elevating yourself as a way of elevating the group, and vice versa, is something you're being recognized for. And that recognition from your peers is really what's helping to fuel this new effort at developing your own project, your own creative expression, your own business, whatever this is. I'm going to clarify the devil in your present with the Queen of Swords and the Two of Cups. Your ability to be curious as you are now understanding this pattern of your life, this pattern that you see, that you've consistently activated or held to, accepting it as truth, has been disrupted through your own efforts, through your own ability to develop yourself, to be loyal, dedicated, and disciplined in the building up of your talents and your skills, your craft, if you will, so that you are now in a position of really questioning your beliefs, challenging your own assumptions that you've held to for so long, recognizing that being curious about what was really happening, what you really experienced, or the possibilities within your environment now is motivating you to be in conversation, to share ideas, to pursue your truth with an openness to ask questions and listen, to really receive the information that you have. What has this experience been for others in your life? What have your relationships reflected back to you or are capable of reflecting back to you now? How are you exploring your potential truth in a way that may have been limited to you limited by your own understanding, or more likely your own hard work and dedication to an expectation that was responsive to your environment rather than that came from you. Allowing yourself to question your assumptions is helping you to develop this relationship with yourself, to recognize the love that has always existed, that has always been available. If that's been in relationships, or if that's been in your devotion to your mission, your work, your expression, whatever that is, this commitment to honoring your potential, your ability to be deserving of love, which is something that is vaguely lacking here in general. Although opportunities for love are available to you in the present moment in droves. And I suspect you've always had opportunities for relationships, enjoyment, gratification, but opportunities for deeply connecting, deeply committing to connection that reflects on your values, your beliefs, your sense of pleasure and joy, your happiness is something that is a relatively new opportunity emerging out of this awareness to release something that doesn't work for you anymore. I'm going to pull a Soul's Journey Oracle card and just express my awe of the intensity of this message, Virgo, and the intensity of your dedication and discipline towards what you have been able to achieve in your life. And I pull loneliness. And this says, I know that I am never alone. And it's so interesting that both the loneliness card is really addressing these two cards that come as sort of like what you're moving towards, love and the sun. And I need to point out to you that the sun card in an old Egyptian deck I had, not Egyptian, really, Brotherhood of Light, an earlier black and white version of their tarot deck. This card was called Marriage. I don't remember the title of the card, but it was about soulmateism. And because the word soulmates is used so freely, and I usually avoid it for that reason, I do want to talk about soulmateism in the context of the relationship we have with ourselves. And the initiate was one who had married their divine feminine and divine masculine within themselves. That is the basis for soulmateism, for finding a resonant partnership that is here to teach us lessons. There are many soulmates in our lives, our siblings, our parents, our friends. We know those relationships when we're in them. But this particular resonance from this card is about finding that match that affirms your uniqueness, that affirms your talent, that affirms who you are at an authentic level. And this has perhaps engendered this sense of loneliness along the way when it has been something that you have had to work so hard to earn, and that you are now accomplishing this place of readiness for a partnership and a commitment that really reflects who you are, your values, and your sense of pleasure and happiness. I'm also going to pull Language of Flowers Oracle card, and two popped up, or three. I'm going to pull the one off the top, the red rose, and the key word is courage. How apt. Be brave, be strong, believe, indeed. Believe in the happiness that you're deserving of. Until next time, Virgo, namaste.